welcome to Nowadays. We are going to have a look on today's news relevant for various competitive exams. Subscribe our channel for daily news and don't forget to click on bell icon. The first news is about the alteration in the scheduled caste list. The Union Minister opposes Uttar Pradesh government's move to shift 17 other backward classes to scheduled caste list. State government's move to shift 17 other backward classes to the scheduled caste list is unconstitutional. It is a transgression of Parliament's jurisdiction. Only Parliament had the right to alter the notified list. On June 24th, the state government directed district magistrates and commissioners to issue caste certificate to the 17 other backward classes. Under Article 341(2) of the Constitution, the power to make changes with the SC list lies with the Parliament. Article 341(2) states that Parliament may by law include in or exclude from the list of scheduled castes specified in a notification issued under Clause 1 any caste, race or tribe or part of or group within any caste, race or tribe, but save as aforesaid a notification issued under the said clause shall not be varied by any subsequent notification. The source is the Hindu. The next news is about Meghduttu project in Karnataka. Karnataka intends to build a reservoir across river Kaveri near Meghduttu in Kanagapura Taluk. Of the 52.52 square kilometer needed for the Meghduttu project, 31.81 square kilometer comes within the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary. Nearly 52.5 square kilometer will be submerged for the continuous Meghduttu Balancing Reservoir and Drinking Water Project. While the pre-feasibility report for the project prepared in June as part of the environmental clearance put definite number to the large-scale submergence in the core area of the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary, which is about 31.81 square kilometer. The report also shows that costs have shot up by over 50% in just 2 years. The cost includes a 99-meter high concrete gravity dam, spillway of 318-meter length and 3 underground power units for which more than 2,000 tons of explosive will be used to excavate rocks and sand in the middle of the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary. The Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary is a protected area located in the Karnataka. The Kaveri River passes through its midst. The sanctuary is home to several endemic or endangered species and is a key elephant and wildlife corridor. The project will utilize an additional 4.75 TMC of drinking water for the Bengaluru metropolitan region, store floodwater to prevent it from escaping to the sea, and generate 400 megawatt of energy. The project has come under controversy with the Tamil Nadu vehemently opposing construction on fear that it will result in lower release of water to the state. And about Kaveri River. It rises on Brahmagiri hills of the Western Ghats in the southern western Karnataka state. It flows in a southeasterly direction for 475 miles through the state of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, before emptying into the Bay of Bengal south of Kodallur. The river breaks into a large number of distributaries. Kaveri's main tributaries are Kabani, Amaravati, Noil and Bhavani rivers. The source is the Hindu. The next news is on ban on genetically modified crops. BT cotton is the only genetically modified crop approved in 2002 by the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee of Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climatic Change for commercial cultivation in the country, and therefore cultivation of other unapproved genetically modified crops are banned in India. Few incidents of suspected open cultivation of BT brinjal HT cotton were reported in Maharashtra, Haryana, Punjab, Gujarat and Andhra Pradesh. Department of Agriculture, Cooperation and Farmers Welfare has issued advisories to state to take appropriate necessary action to curb and control the spread of BT brinjal and HT cotton. State governments have given the direction to all district administration to take necessary legal steps to curb the production and selling of illegal genetically modified crops. There is a well-established regulatory framework for approval of GM crops as per rules for the manufacture or use or import or export and Storage of Hazardous Microorganisms, Genetically Engineered Organisms or Cells 1989 under the Environment Protection Act 1986 in the country. What is genetically modified crops? Genetically modified crops are produced by transforming gene from one organism to other organism by help of biotechnology. Now only Bt cotton allowed in India for commercial cultivation. The source is PIB. There was a mention of Periyar Tiger Reserve in the news. Now we will see what was the news about. The Travancore Devasam Board has locked horns with the Forest Department over the latest description of the pilgrim traffic to Shabarimala, which is located in Periyar Tiger Reserve, as a major hazard in an ecotourism development project report submitted to the Centre. In its report on ecotourism development submitted to the Centre, the Forest Department stated that the ecological sanctity of the area was totally affected by the high density pilgrimage, and the Forest Department seldom controls the pilgrimage activities. The major hazards caused by the movement of pilgrims include collection of firewood from the forest, cutting poles for construction sheds, littering of biodegradable plastic waste, noise pollution by chanting religious slogans, creating trekking tracks through trampling resulting in soil erosion, lighting at night during trekking to the temple, temporary camps, and halting places. Now we will see about Periyar Tiger Reserve. Periyar National Park and Wildlife Sanctuary. It is a protected area near Thekadi in the district of Idukki, Kottayam and Pathanamthitta in Kerala. It is notable as an elephant reserve and tiger reserve. The protected area covers an area of 925 km square. The park is a repository of rare, endemic and endangered flora and fauna, and forms the major watershed of two important rivers of Kerala, Periyar and Pamba. The park is often called Periyar Wildlife Sanctuary or Thekadi. It is located high in the Cardamom Hills, Pandalam Hills of the southern Western Ghats along the border with Tamil Nadu. The park is made up of tropical evergreen and moist deciduous forest, grasslands, stands of eucalypts and lake and river ecosystem. The source is The Hindu. The next news is about three-language formula. The Tamil Nadu government has opposed the three-language formula proposed by the Centre in the draft National Education Policy. The government was determined to continue implementing the two-language formula comprising Tamil and English. Now, what is the formula? It is commonly understood that the three languages referred to are Hindi, English, and the regional language of the respective states. Though the teaching of Hindi across the country was part of a long-standing system, it was crystallized into a policy in an official document only in the National Policy on Education 1968. This document said regional languages were already in the use as the media of education in the primary and secondary stages. At the secondary stage, the state government should adopt and vigorously implement the three-language formula, which includes the study of the modern Indian language, preferably one of the southern languages apart from Hindi and English in the Hindi-speaking states. In the non-Hindi speaking states, Hindi should be studied along with the regional language and English. Article 351 Directive for Development of the Hindi Language. The source is The Hindu. The next is about Senate Bill grant India a NATO ally-like status. The US Senate has passed a legislative provision that brings India at par with America's North Atlantic Treaty Organization's allies and countries such as Israel and South Korea for increasing defense cooperation. The National Defense Authorization Act or NDAA for the fiscal year 2020, which contains such a proposal, was passed by the US Senate last week. The amendment provides for increased US-India defense cooperation in the Indian Ocean in the areas of humanitarian assistance, counter-terrorism, counter-piracy, and maritime security. The bill would be signed into law after both the chambers of the US Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate passes it. The House is expected to take up its version of the NDAA sometimes in July before legislators adjourn for the month-long August recess on July 29th. Source is The Hindu. The next is about lithium-ion giga units. Niti Aayog's proposal aims to give thrust to adoption of electric vehicles. To push the adoption of electric mobility in the country, government think tank Niti Aayog has proposed the establishment of gigafactories in India for the manufacture of lithium-ion batteries in the next couple of years. The recommendation is part of the Aayog's much debated proposal that only electric vehicles, three-wheelers, would be sold in the country after March 31st, 2023, and all new sales of two-wheelers below 150cc would be electric post March 31st, 2025. We have also proposed in this mission that gigafactories be established for making lithium-ion batteries in India. What is lithium-ion battery? Lithium-ion battery is a type of rechargeable battery in which lithium ions move from negative electrode to the positive electrode during discharge and back when charging. India is one of the largest importers. Lithium-ion batteries have application in energy storage system. The two-wheeler industry has strongly opposed the Aayog's proposal to stop selling internal combustion engine 150cc two-wheelers, cautioning that the move would disrupt the industry that was already reeling under stress. Terming the proposal impractical, the industry had also pointed out that batteries, which were a crucial part of electric vehicles, were expensive and not made in India. Source is The Hindu. The next news is about base erosion and profit shifting. The government announced on Tuesday that it had ratified the international agreement to curb base erosion and profit sharing, a bid to stop companies from moving their profit out of the country and depriving the government of tax revenue. India has ratified the multilateral convention to implement tax treaty related measures to prevent base erosion and profit shifting, which was signed by the finance minister in Paris on June 7, 2017 on behalf of India, along with the representatives of more than 65 countries. Base erosion and profit shifting refers to the phenomena where companies shift their profits to other tax jurisdictions, which usually have lower rates, thereby eroding the tax base in India. The multilateral instrument is a result of concerted work by the G20 countries to tackle the issue of base erosion and profit shifting. India was part of the ad hoc group of more than 100 countries and jurisdictions from the G20 and other interested countries, which worked on finalizing the text of multilateral convention. The source is The Hindu. The next is HSRP Vahan link must for car registration. The Transport Ministry has said that no new vehicle would be registered unless the high security registration plates HSRP fixed by automobile manufacturers or their dealers are linked to the Vahan database. It is the central depository of all registered vehicles in the country. The Road Transport Ministry issued the direction on Monday after some reports of vehicle manufacturers and dealers were bypassing the norms that came into effect from this April, and there were possibility of compromising with the inquired security features of HSRP. While making the HSRP mandatory for all new vehicles produced from April 1, the ministry had notified that HSRP will be supplied by the vehicle manufacturers along with the vehicles to their dealers, and the dealer shall place a mark of registration on such plates. HSRP plates are made up of aluminium with unique details other than the registration number itself, featuring a unique 7-digit laser code, a chakra hologram to prevent counterfeiting, a self-destructive sticker with engine and chassis number of your car, IND inscribed in color blue. India will be inscribed at a 45-degree angle in hot stamping foil across all letters and numbers on the plate. The source is Times of India. The next news is about classical language status. A proposal for granting classical status to Marathi language was received from Marathi Language Department, Government of Maharashtra. The said proposal was placed before the Committee of Linguistic Experts for its consideration through Sahitya Akademi. In 2004, Government of India declared Tamil as the classical language of India. In 2005, right after Tamil, the government declared Sanskrit as classical language of India. These two languages are undeniably parental source for several languages belonging to the Indo-European family and the Dravidian family of language groups. The government gave the classical language status to Kannada and Telugu in 2008. Malayalam was declared as a classical language in 2013, and in 2014 Odia was also given the status of the classical language. Classical language of India criteria. The idea of classicism has its origin in Europe. The government tracks the following criteria to define the eligibility of language to be considered for classification as classical language. First one is extraordinary antiquity of its early transcripts or verified history over a period of 1500 to 2000 years. A body of ancient literature or text which is considered a valuable heritage by generation of speakers. Next is the literary tradition should be unique and not hired from another language community. The final criteria is the classical language and the literature being diverse from modern. There may also be a discontinuity among the classical language and its later form or its sprouts. The source is PIB. The next news is about e-cigarettes. Recognizing their harmful effect, the Health Ministry has decided to ban the nicotine inhalers, also known as electronic nicotine delivery system, that are popular among smokers. The proposal to ban the battery operated product is part of the first 100 days agenda of the Narendra Modi government. These devices do not burn tobacco leaves but use a heat element to turn a liquid nicotine solution into vapor, which the user inhales. E-cigarettes are unlicensed products and have made their way into India illegally. Marketed as a product that can help smokers quit, e-cigarettes have also become a fashion statement among young tobacco users. According to the government data, more than 460 e-cigarette brands are available in India, with various configurations of nicotine delivery and in over 7,700 flavors. However, under the Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act, the government cannot ban these products but only regulate their sale. This put the government in a dilemma over the legal provisions it would have to invoke to ban e-cigarettes. Finally, experts at a Drug Consultative Committee meeting on 1st June concluded that e-cigarettes and other such devices would fall under the definition of drug under Section 3B of the Drug and Cosmetics Act 1940 and therefore should be banned under Section 26A of Drugs and Cosmetics Act. The source is Live Mint. The next news is about a Power Sector Council. Power Sector Council comprising the political executive as well as the energy bureaucracy to tackle issues between the union and state government as part of the ministry's 100-day action plan for the second term of the BJP-led government. The council will help the centre and state work on common agenda and ensure round-the-clock power to all. The vision document for power sector for the next 5 years will also focus on electricity generation utilities including from renewable energy sources, transmission including green energy corridor and green energy integration, and electricity distribution companies including distribution franchises. The council would work in the spirit of collaborative and cooperative federalism, whereby various federal and state entities in the Indian power sector can work on common narratives of energy sector growth on a common agenda while retaining the concurrent nature of power sector as enshrined in the Constitution of India. The council proposed will be headed by the Union Power Minister and have the Union Finance Minister and the Power Ministers of all states as members. It will be assisted by a standing committee headed by the Union Power Secretary, with Finance Secretaries and Principal Secretaries Energy and Finance of all states as its member. The source is Live Mint. The next news is about Turdal. Minister for Consumer Affairs informed Lok Sabha that government has decided to enhance the import limit on Turdal from 2 metric ton to 4 lakh metric ton for the year 2019-2020. Government has also decided to release 2 lakh metric ton of Turdal available in the buffer stock of pulses to state and union territories under the Price Stabilization Fund. Centre had signed an memorandum of understanding with Mozambique in July 2016 to improve domestic availability and facilitate price stability of tur and other pulses. The country's pulses output is estimated to be down at 232 lakh ton in the 2018-19 crop year from 254.2 lakh ton in the previous year. Barring Turdal, the production of chana, moong, masoor and urad remain higher. Turdal production is estimated to be lower at 35 lakh ton in 2018-19 crop year from 42.9 lakh ton in the previous year. The source is All India Radio. The next news is about a report working on a warmer planet, the impact of heat stress on labor, productivity and decent work. According to a recent report by the International Labour Organization, India could lose the equivalent of 34 million jobs in 2030 due to global warming. Projections are based on a global temperature rise of 1.5 degrees Celsius by the end of the 21st century and the labor force trends. Heat stress is defined as generally above 35 degrees Celsius in places with high humidity. India will be the most affected country because of its large population. India is projected to lose 5.8% of working hours in 2030 due to global warming, particularly impacting agriculture and construction sector. In absolute terms, India is expected to lose the equivalent of 34 million full-time jobs in 2030 in productivity. Working hours will be lost because it is too hot to work or because workers work at a slower pace. The report noted that Ahmedabad incorporated a cool roofs initiative into its 2017 heat action plan, notably by providing access to affordable cool roofs for the city's slum residents and urban poor. The source is All India Radio. Thanks for watching. The PDF of detailed news is given in description. Subscribe our channel for daily news and don't forget to hit the bell icon. See you tomorrow.